As everybody starts coming in, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring her on. Kaci Lennox, how are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to have you on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Pancakes. I love pancakes. So.
What's your favorite? I love pancakes too. What's your favorite flavor of pancake?
So it's not so much a well, I guess it is a flavor, but I like funfetti pancakes. So
Okay.
It's like the pancake and it's like cake mix in one, and then you put icing on top and sprinkles. That's my favorite.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. Any particular like pancake places you like? Are you in Florida? You stay in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Orlando.
Okay. I've been to Orlando. I don't know any like pancake places. What are some good pancake places in Orlando? I think I did go to IHOP. I mean, IHOP's everywhere. I'm in Ohio. IHOP's everywhere. But any other good pancakes in Orlando? Any pancake places in Orlando?
I know we have hash a go-go.
Mm-hmm.
So they serve more than pancakes. They're just like they're known for their big platters and stuff like that, and their pancakes are like the size of like I don't know, like a 12-inch pizza. They say.
Wow.
So or like a personal pizza, like one of those boxes.
Wow. That's a lot.
But yeah, they have pretty big portions.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone there yet, but I do want to go there. Other than that, I love pancakes, but like I can't really eat them because I have to stay on diet.
Yes, so
I'm just an IHOP kind of girl.
Got you, IHOP, and we're Facebook friends. So I did see something about recently. You said something about you've been really strict on the diet and has had good results, right?
Yeah.
So how's that been going? Like,
yep, I've been.
What have you been dieting? Like, what's in your diet?
So I did keto for most of last year, so like towards the end, and I feel like it worked the first week, and then every week after that, I was like, oh, it's okay, I can cheat a little bit, and I'll be fine. I'll just go back to diet the next day. So what keto is, I don't know if everybody's unaware or aware. Keto is a high fat, moderate carb or moderate protein and low carb diet. So my carbs were about 30 grams of carbs. And I technically didn't do keto right. I just counted the overall carbs. When you do keto, you're supposed to count your carbs and then subtract any fiber that is in the food. You're supposed to subtract that, and that will give you the net carbs. I just counted the regular carbs, and I think that's where I kind of messed it up and probably went off track. But I've been doing pretty good on my moderate carb, high protein, and low fat diet. So It's not really a diet. It's just eating healthy and
it's a lifestyle.
Not eating all that processed, junky food.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a big difference in that. As we're talking about pancakes, but I'm sure I'm sure there's a way to there's a way to super nutritionize pancakes. I haven't got there yet. I was a personal trainer for 10 years, and
Oh, wow.
I wasn't necessarily. It's funny because I love working out. I had recently big back surgery last April. It jacked up my workout for 2018. I actually had I had a spinal fusion. I had my L5. I had my L4 and S1 fused, and so that really
wow,
yeah, that really jacked me up. And yes, but at the same time, I was a personal trainer for 10 years, and it's funny because as much as I love exercising, dieting was never really something that I was a big I took nutrition classes and things like that. I knew about it, but it wasn't something I wasn't like a religious, dieter. It's funny. I just worked out like a madman. I mean, that was that was really my story. And so it's really like it's really that thing, like, people know their particular body types, you know what I mean, and just know what works for you. And it's really like as many times I see like sponsored Facebook ads about do this and lose weight in 60 days, and it's fun. I usually laugh at that stuff because a lot of times it don't work. It's just a really good. It's really it's a really good impulse buy. But at the same time, a lot of times, it will work for someone quick, but it may work for someone, later. So it really depends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's with a lot of stuff, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So let's. So was that correct? Did you start wrestling in 2016?
I did. I started April 2016. Nice. Let me pull my calendar up. I started the WrestleMania would have been on the 3rd, so I started April 5th of 2016.
Oh, so right after WrestleMania.
So almost 3 years.
Wow.
In April.
Really interesting.
Yep.
So you wrestled for Larry Zbyszko and Chasen Reigns promotion, right?
Yeah, I wrestle at it's called Team Vision Dojo. Is the school name, and then we have shows under the I Believe in Wrestling name.
Okay.
So I do train there, and it's super fun. I love it there.
How was Larry Zbyszko and just interacting with him when you did, or when you can, or the times that you have? How is he to interact with?
Larry is so fun. He's super old school, and I feel like that's good for me because I like the technical aspect more, and that's what he wants to get across a lot.
Okay.
So whenever he comes by, we learn how to technical work all the time, but we really learn how to like really, really work these holds that we're doing. So that's why I love when he comes by, because he's not like, he likes the flippy stuff and like he's into that, but again, he is from a different generation of wrestling in a different era, and he likes more of the stuff where the people sell for the other person and stuff like that. So he just likes to work holds in. And I feel like it's different. It's very different from what we see now.
Yeah, more character based. Yeah, definitely more character based for Mr. Larry Land. Yeah. Has he shared any old school WCW or he was real big in AWA or any Bruno stories or anything like that with the students?
Yeah, he definitely. The last time he was at training was Thursday, and he shared a Bruno story. I can't remember it because I'm like so bad at remembering everything. But yeah, he definitely will. He will just tell us something, and then he'll remember some memory that he had, and he'll just go down memory lane, which is cute. Like, it's fun because even if wrestling's not all about learning all these moves and stuff like that, it's also about learning from your past. That's always fun to hear stories about things that used to happen.
Yep, absolutely. Got some questions for you from the live chat. Hashtag Ask Kaci. Multi's asking, what WWE wrestlers do you want to wrestle the most?
So can I do current and past?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so I would love to wrestle. Obviously, I want to wrestle Sasha, just because I want to be in the same ring with her and prove that we don't look the same.
You get that a lot?
But yeah, I get it like very often.
Oh, really?
Like literally, pretty much almost every day.
Wow.
So I'd love to wrestle her. She's amazing. She's been wrestling for a few years. I would love to wrestle Alicia. Pretty much every female on the roster. Like, they all bring something different to the table, and just getting to work with so many different females would be amazing. I would love to work with Ziggler. He's like
Nice.
a beast. He's amazing at selling.
Oh yeah, definitely is.
Let's see. I would love to. Yeah, he's crazy. I would love to work Eddie Guerrero. I would like to work with Edge, Natalia. She's a big one. There's just so many people. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Just trying to think of like the roster that they had, plus all the past people. There's so many people that I want to get in there and just work around with.
Yeah.
Too many to name.
That's awesome. Who wins the Women's Royal Rumble?
Oh my goodness. So okay, I want them to do a Lay Cool return, and I want Layla to win because Layla's my favorite. Layla's been my favorite for years. Like ever since she debuted in the Diva Search, she's always been my favorite.
Oh, nice.
Her, Maria. So either one of those. I didn't get to catch the announcements on Twitter, but I don't think they announced Maria in it. Did they?
Not that I know of. I know that she's.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, her and Mike are having some, I guess some tension with WWE reportedly. I'm not sure if. I'm sure that she's still in the contract as far as I know. So, so as long as she's still in the contract, I think she's good to go as far as competing. So, I'm sure. I mean, they need 30. They need 30 women. So, I'm sure that they'll put her in there. So, yeah, I'm sure that she'll be in there. So let's talk about you and just your MLW. How did you? I've had Court Bauer on the show before, and he just he really has some really interesting and some great ideas and visions about MLW, and I watch MLW a lot. And it's a really, really fascinating product. Tom Lawler's doing his thing. Y'all have a big event coming up next weekend, actually, featuring Tom Lawler against Low Key. Yeah. And
that match is going to be insane.
It is. It is. Yeah.
And it's in Philly.
Yep. It's in Philly. It's at the 2300 Arena, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old ECW arena.
Yeah, old school. So it's really going to be interesting. So just let the listeners know just how, who and how, and how did that come about as far as you joining the MLW roster?
So I was friends with Mr. Saint Laurent, who is another owner of MLW. Yep. So I'm friends with him. He contacted me about potentially doing an interview spot. He told me that I had to come by on pre-tape days. Whoops, sorry, I feel like he told me I had to come by on the pre-tape days and do like a tryout. So I came by, I did the tryout, and from there, I guess they like me because I'm signed. So
nice. That's awesome. And when did you start?
Long story short, start with MLW.
Yeah.
I was doing MLW since they started. I was doing their like merchandise stuff. I feel like I'm gonna say the wrong date because I feel like I haven't been doing it that long, but it's been over 6 months so far.
Oh, nice.
But let's see. Oh my goodness. I should know these dates, but I feel like I'm so old that I forget everything.
So old. Oh, okay. So you're still in your 20s, aren't you? I know that's the big no to ask a woman her age. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't know. I don't know if you're big on that, but I will ask you a general. You're still in your 20s. I will ask you that, right?
Yes, I'm not afraid of my age. I'm 26.
Okay.
But I look 26. Young sometimes, so.
Well, 26
good
is
thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to keep this young face forever. It's not. Like, once you're 25, once you pass 25, it's like everything's just downhill. Or that's what they tell me.
No. I haven't been 25 for a while, so I trust me, it gets better for me at least. It gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things that family comes and career comes and all that good stuff, and your 20s. Yeah. Me in my 20s and a lot of my friends when they were in their 20s, it's one of those things that you just kind of still learning life and, adulting really, you're still really kind of getting into adulting and being on your own and things like that. So, there's still, Lord willing, there's still a long time for you to learn and grow and get in your 30s. And I personally think, 30s is better than 20s. So hopefully that's some encouragement for you. So. I'll take it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, it'll get. It is. I'm sure that you're enjoying 26 now, but I think that you'll have fun in your 30s. Is that like treacherous to you to think that you're in your 30s, or is it? Are you looking forward to it?
Sometimes it is treacherous. Like when I'm thinking about like my wrestling career, and I feel like there's so many people who are younger coming in, and I'm just like, oh, I haven't made it yet, and blah blah blah. But I actually seen Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
She posted a tweet, and she said that she was thankful for her ribs for the last 32 years or something like that. And I didn't think she was that old. I'm looking it up right now, actually.
Yeah, she was a cheerleader for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, she is 31. So she said 31 years. And when I look at her, I'm like, she doesn't look 31,
Yeah.
So when I'm like, oh, I'm 26 and she's 31, like, now I don't feel as bad.
Yeah.
Because she's still out there killing it, and she's 31, and I still have time,
That's true. That's true. Look at Mickie James. She'll be 40 this year.
I know.
And she's still wrestling. Yeah.
I know. And
Isn't that
she's
crazy?
still going like the young people.
Yeah.
It is crazy. When you keep your body like in shape and on top of the positive and healthy lifestyle choices, I feel like that's bound to happen.
Certainly.
So I just got to stop eating junk food.
Yeah. Or you can have a cheater too, It's up to you. Just discipline is the key. Discipline is the key. So. All right, so let's talk about just the last part here. I've enjoyed our discussion tonight. Let's talk about Mean Gene Okerlund, because you're really starting to be an interviewer and starting to really. I mean, you're competing and you did some interview, more of an interviewer type of role in MLW. I know because you're 26 and Gene Okerlund was really big in the late 70s to probably early to mid 90s. That's you being born in 92. So that really, you were just kind of like a baby when Gene Okerlund was starting to kind of go out of the business. I think. I mean the days that Nitro lasted until 2001. So you got a good 9 or so years with Gene Okerlund just to see him on a weekly basis. So do you have any type of Gene Okerlund memories and just some pointers that you can grab from him as perhaps the greatest interviewer in pro wrestling history?
Yeah. So not pointers so much, or not memory. Oh, sorry, not memories so much. From like him interviewing and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I will say that he obviously, like you said, he's one of the greatest interviewers around. Just the way he reacted to people and made their promos better. He wasn't just standing there holding the mic and just asking the questions with no emotion. He put a lot of thought and effort behind how he spoke, how he reacted, how it made the talent look. And it's actually funny that you brought him up, because Court Bauer had told me that's somebody who he wanted me to watch, and just to improve my interview skills and just to see just kind of how an interviewer should interview. Mm-hmm. And he told me to watch some NFL like sideline reporters just to see how they just kind of freestyle it. And after I watched the interviewers and I watched Gene, I feel like it kind of like clicked and I flow better. Nice. So yeah, me and Gene is the bomb. I do have a good memory of him. WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania Access. Mm-hmm. My friend was taking photos, and then I'm on the side like taking photos, just from one of like the walkways. And he's so cute. He waved over and like posed for the picture. So he's really sweet. It's sad that he passed, but he obviously definitely left a legacy.
Oh yeah,
and an impact on not only announcers but wrestlers as well.
Yep, absolutely. And he, he was one of those interviewers that really assisted with putting the wrestlers over, and we don't get a lot of that these days, unfortunately. And a lot of the interviewers have like kind of a cookie cutter feel, kind of the same look and kind of the same personality, and there's not a lot of spontaneity and just kind of organic feel when it comes to a lot of interviewers nowadays. And I think, kudos to Court Bauer for giving you, Gene Okerlund to look at, because he really transcended just the interviewers when it came to an organic feel and just having his own personality and actually getting over with the interviewers, so he did a fantastic job at that. So Kaci, it's been a pleasure. Let the listeners know what MLW has going on next week. Big event on February 2nd.
Huge event. And then MLW is going to be at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. We have Tom Lawler versus the MLW World Heavyweight Champion Low Key. I definitely know Selena De La Renta is going to be at his side. We also have the Tag Team Championships are on the line. It's Penta and Phoenix versus the Hart Foundation. So that right there is going to be two matches that are insane. Teddy Hart, he's the MLW middleweight champion now. So if you've seen any of his matches, you know that anything that he does is going to be crazy. Oh yeah. But you guys can. Yeah, it's going to be insane, right?
Yeah.
But if you guys want to check out the show, you can go to MLWGo.com and get tickets. Or you can check us out on YouTube, and we're on BN Sports every Friday night.
Nice, absolutely. And
so plenty of opportunities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Teddy Hart he can go in the ring. He's a wildfire.
I know, he's a beast.
Yes, he's wildfire out there. And I interviewed him actually during WrestleMania weekend and last year, and we were both. It was funny because I'm good buddies with Lance Archer, and I interviewed him. I went backstage at an indie show during WrestleMania weekend. And it was like at a high school, and so I saw a gym and I was like, oh sweet, and so I started lifting weights, and he was there lifting too, and we were both benching, and I was like, hey man, can I grab an interview? He was super nice to me, and he was like, sure, no problem at all, and so I started interviewing him, and he was like, man, you should, he tried to recruit me. He tried to recruit me to wrestle. And I thought it was hilarious. And so, yeah, he's really nice. And so, yeah, he's going to kill it. He is the Hart Foundation is, first of all, I think the Hart Foundation's theme music is dope for some reason. I'm a really big theme music person. I think theme music, I really think that theme music and wardrobe and entrances, it really can make or break a superstar. And I think that's Hart Foundation. Sure. Yeah, I think their theme music is really dope. And man, Pillman Jr. I've interviewed Pillman Jr. on the show too, and man, he's killing it too.
He is. He's everywhere right now, and good for him.
Yeah.
He came back from an injury, he's kind of, you know, I don't want to say he doesn't want to live in his father's footsteps or like his father's shadows or whatever, but he does have a really big shoe to fill.
Yeah,
and he's filling it. So good for him, you know.
Absolutely.
Not only on MLW, but he's filling it outside of the company, just with his indie shows and as much as he's traveling around the world. Yep. Definitely killing it. So good for him.
Absolutely. Yep. So I like the Heart Foundation tandem. I will trio.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. Like I said, I like their theme song in the MLW and just you know Smith, Harry Smith or Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Harry,
I believe he's being billed as. Other than being on the Killer Elite Squad, my buddy Lance, being in the Heart Foundation, man, he's I've seen him in person, man. Dude is just a monster. Like TV doesn't do him justice.
Yeah, he's pretty tall and built.
yeah. TV doesn't do. There's certain people, like I've been around a lot of wrestlers in my journalism career, and to be honest, there's a lot of wrestlers that I see on TV that actually looks bigger on TV, and I'll dwarf them. And there's certain wrestlers that I'll see on TV, and I'll see them in real life. And I'm like, whoa, this dude is a monster. And I saw him last year in Orlando. Speaking of Orlando, I saw him in Orlando last year at this event. And man, he was like King Kong. he was huge.
Yeah.
So, really interesting. Well, let's
he's
listen.
pretty tall. The first time I met him.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
First time you met him?
Oh, no. I was just saying the first time I met him, like, I had never seen him before except for on TV. And then, like, a lot of people at MLW, I face to face or I looked down, but I looked up and it was like, what? Why are you so tall and big and jacked?
He's huge. Yep, absolutely. Well, Kaci, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed our conversation tonight, and I wish you the absolute best. I know that you think that you're old, but you're not, and just just being in business for almost 3 years, still in your infancy, but you're already doing so much, within 3 years. I mean, you're a part of one of the greatest promotions in professional wrestling right now, one of the hottest promotions in MLW, and you're doing your thing in the indies and continuing to learn under the tutelage of a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest minds in pro wrestling history. So wish you nothing but the best, Kaci, and let the listeners know where to find you on social media.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Miss Kaci Lennox. It's going to be on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's MISSKACI LENNOX. So you can find all of my pictures there and all of my show announcements and all that good stuff on any of those sites. Nice.
And what about booking?
Yeah. Booking-wise, it's Kaci Lennox Bookings at gmail.com for anybody out there.
Sounds good.
Looking to book me.
Well, book Kaci.
Thank you.
She is a fired 26-year-old that's full of wisdom already and ready to slam woman or man.
Definitely. I'm not afraid of either.
That's right. Ain't afraid of nobody. That's right. Best wishes to you, Kaci. Thanks for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. Kaci Lennox, ladies and gentlemen, MLW. I really appreciate her coming on the show tonight. Great interview, and she's awesome. All right, she's a wrestler. Yeah, she's a wrestler, and she's an interviewer for MLW, Major League Wrestling. What's going on, peoples? What's going on, Zed, Multi, Gruss? I see Gruss tried to ask Kaci out for a date. I don't think that would work, asking on the chat line, so and don't be a creep about it. That is the worst thing you could do. So, yeah, there you go. Multi-ax Chris, how are you? I'm fine, man. I've spent a lot of this week working on my dissertation. Thank you, Mahmood. Thank you, Larry. Larry says, good interview. Mahmoud, I'm well, actually. Thank you for asking as well. What's going on, Monstar? Thank you for everybody who's on the chat room tonight. Yeah, I've spent most of today working on this week working on my dissertation. Just continuing to one step closer to becoming a doctor this year, and I'm excited about it. So I'll be Dr. Chris this year. Finishing up. My goal is to be finished in the fall with my dissertation and graduate and become a doctor, man. So that's how I'm doing. Thank you, Zed. That says much respect on the dissertation. Thank you so much. You know, it's funny because I am a big I do a terrible job accepting compliments because I'm a modest person, so I do a really bad job accepting compliments. Like when someone give me a compliment, I'm like, it feels weird to say thank you, but I'm gonna work on that this year. I'm gonna work on the thank yous and the not weirdly accepting compliments. So that's usually how I usually say thank you, but sometimes, for those who read the Bible, look up Gideon. I think that's pretty much fits into my explanation of what I'm saying right now. Gideon. Long month furlough on this government shutdown. Yeah, some people, I used to make a living writing politics. It's funny because one episode of the Pancakes, the Powerslams show, it's so funny. 356 episodes into this daggone thing, and you go back down memory lane, and you're like, whoa, are you serious? That was just interesting that I did that, and just super interesting that I did that, and I don't know. If I did it, I don't know if I would have the opportunity to do it again. I would do that, but I remember there was one episode of the Pancakes of Power Slam show that I think we were doing live updates of the election, of the presidential election, and so it was fun. It was super fun, but it's so funny because I actually made a living. I wrote about politics. I for about a year and a half, I wrote about politics, and it's funny because I was really heavy into politics. Would have a Ben Shapiro like debate with with anybody, coming my way. But it's funny. I've had this conversation with people, man. The more I look about the more I think about politics, the more I'm like, man, the more I just got disinterested. The deeper I got into politics and the more research I did, the less interested I got into it. And now, I keep up with the stuff because, just as a journalist, it's good to just keep up with just stories and things like that. But, man, like Larry says, man, politics is a work. I could agree with that, man. So the NFL is a work too. NFL getting sued for not calling a pass interference with the Saints and the Rams, and the Patriots going back to the Super Bowl for the 92nd time. The NFL is a work, ladies and gentlemen. It's a work. So, Greg said there's some real heels in politics. Yes, there are. From the research that I did, man, if you realize the stuff that goes on backstage in politics, man, you would be alarmed. You would certainly be alarmed. All right. XFL 2020 Black Star says, yeah, absolutely. the XFL. Talking about, there's some rumors that ESPN, that there's some possibilities of discussing a deal with ESPN. That's big, so it's one of those things, man. XFL 2020, you don't know. We don't know what to expect, but I mean, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting, regardless of what it is. It's funny because it's as hype as it was when it started almost 20 years ago. It's really, really interesting. It was super hyped. Got a good deal because of the hype. It didn't have like big names or anything like that, but it got a deal because of the hype. Didn't necessarily live up to the hype to many people. Personally, I was a huge XFL fan. I have an XFL shirt. I was a fan of the Chicago Enforcers. We didn't win the championship, but I was a big Enforcers fan. I actually interviewed Rod Smart on my show a few months back. He Hate Me. I interviewed him on my show, and really, really nice guy. So, really interesting. Before I bring on my boy, Evan Tech Prout, let me address a few of these Ask Chris questions. Maltese asking, did you and Under the Mat Radio, Evan, ever go to the White House and have Kofifi and smocking hamburgers? It's funny. Yeah, the Kofifi story was, I actually wrote about that. Let me see if I can find it. I wrote about that probably a few years ago, but I don't remember when. See if I can find it. So I'm going to talk real quick about the hamburger thing. Let's see if I can find it. Yep, June 12th, 2017. The story I wrote was called "The New Kofifi Act Will Make the President Accountable for Every Tweet, Even the Deleted Ones." June 12, 2017. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That story actually did pretty well. Let's see. Maybe I can bring it up. Talking politics here at the Pancakes and Powerslams show. What have you guys done? What have you done? Yeah. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna bring this up here. And again, man, politics to me has just went down the tubes. But yeah, that's the story I did. June 12, 2017. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Let's see. I'm going to bring it up. All right, here we go. Kofifi Act. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. The Inquisitor. Interesting ad there. The Inquisitor, Donald Trump is, so Kofifi Act, deleted tweets, and yeah, there you go. Inquisitor always had some really interesting ads there. However, there's been a new business act initiated by Democratic Representative Illinois Congressman Mike Quigley. President of the Records Act, established in 1978, governs the official records of presidents and vice presidents created or received after January 20th, 1981. So there you are. There's the craziness of all of the politics there, and it was so funny. I got really big into this. Then what, a year and a half ago, but now I could care less, to be honest with you, because I realize how divisive politics are. Lots of ads here on this. Lots of ads. Let me do one of those things. All right. There we go. All right, so there you go. Evan Tech Prout. Let's bring my boy on as we talk about Kofifi and Donald Trump. How much politics is a work, Evan?
It is a work. Maybe we can replace Kofifi with Chris Jericho on a intro at WWE, as always.
Right. Zed said, wait a minute, I think I've read your work on Inquisitor before. Yeah, I wrote there for, oh, goodness. I wrote there for, how long? Like a year and a half, 2 years almost. Wrote a lot of stuff about politics, religion, wrestling, pop culture. I wrote a lot of articles.
Fun stuff.
For their
Fun stuff.
Good experience. But it was funny because I really, money was good too. But it's funny because the more I got into it, like I said, the more I got into just digging in politics, man. I was like, man, this is a work. Like this is just like it was. As I was in there, I was like, okay, this is super just riveting and controversial and just very journalistic, very high, paid well because it was so popular. But I was like, man, I might get back into it come next election, but otherwise, man. Ask Chris questions. Oh yeah. So about the Clemson and burgers and fries thing. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, honestly, and I
didn't even.
Yeah, and it's like, my feeling toward, him getting hamburgers and fries for Clemson, that doesn't confirm or deny my my thoughts on Donald Trump. I'll keep that aside. I'm not going to make it sound negative or positive. I'm saying this from a neutral standpoint. I'll keep that aside. But particularly with the Clemson deal, I didn't have a problem with it. Trevor Lawrence said that he enjoyed it, and there's other people from Ohio State that said that they were they were with two presidents, and none of them gave food during the visit. So I sometimes people on social media, man, they can just they can blow something up and just make it just nothing, and it's just people look for stuff to complain about. I've noticed that as I've gotten older, man, especially with social media these days, people just really find stuff to complain about. And, it's just one of those things that that is such a minor thing in life compared to ending world hunger and, you know what I mean, and feeding the poor. And,
homeless people, right.
Yeah, and it's just... taking care of widows and keeping yourself unspotted from evil works in this world, and there's so many much more important being a good husband to your family and a good father to your kids. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many other things that are so much more important than to talk about Donald Trump feeding Clemson hamburgers and pizza and. So yeah, that's my take on it. I think it was blown up, and There you go. Let's address some of these Ask Chris questions first. Kudos to Kaci Lennox, man. Just such a rising star. She did a fantastic job interviewing tonight, and and yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. So, good stuff. All right, Ask Chris questions, and then we're gonna just real quick Raw and SmackDown, and then we're gonna tackle these Raw main events. Looking forward to it. Looks like my webcam froze. Let me fix that real quickies. There we go. Okay. All right, so let's get to these headlines real quick. Let's get to the Ask Chris questions first. Black Star, do you think there's a possibility that Stone Cold could be in the Royal Rumble? No, 0% possibility. Gruss is asking,
unless he can
what?
Unless Stone Cold Steve Austin can go back in his 2001 form.
Yeah.
Or 98 form.
Right.
Kind of like Cell in Dragon Ball Z. Or Frieza. Nope.
Right. Like Wolverine, he never ages.
Yeah, Wolverine, right.
Yeah. Unless this was 18 years back. And really, I'd say about 20, 21, 20, 22 years back. Because even in 18 years ago in 2001, he was starting to wrap it up. So, let's see. Possibility Stone Cold. Gruss is asking, will The Rock return for the opening game of the new XFL? You know what? That wouldn't surprise me if that happened, actually. That wouldn't surprise me. I think that possibility is stronger than Austin being in the Royal Rumble. So, that possibility, I'd say that's probably about an 8% chance that could happen. Ask Chris. Hashtag Ask Chris. Welcome to the chat room. You newcomers, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you having fun with us tonight on the Pancakes and Powerslams show. For those who are listening on Facebook, on the Attitude Era, on audio, on the Tuesday audio, on the Saturday audio, you can find the Pancakes and Powerslam show everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. And Pancakes and Powerslams, I don't think I mentioned this last week, maybe vaguely in passing, but the Pancakes and Powerslam show has a Wikipedia page. How about that? That is like huge news. So thank you so much, everybody, for becoming, fans of the show, and the show becoming so popular that's got a Wikipedia page. So I'm gonna try to find it for y'all. It has a list of everybody that I've interviewed on the show. So that is as Donald Trump. Speaking of Donald Trump, as Donald Trump would say, that is huge. that is huge. So yeah, list of interviews that I've had on the show. And I'm thinking, let's see. I'm thinking that I might have a Hall of Fame, actually. So, yeah. Let's see here.
You gotta have the volume on that. JTG.
Yep. So I'm not gonna reveal them. I am not going to reveal them. We'll see. We will see about that. We will see. But what's going on with that as far as who is going to be a part of the Hall of Fame. So very, very interested in that. Okay, so let's address some of these extras questions. We got the Royal Rumble coming up and everything. Malty's asking, ask Evan. Who do you think will win the Royal Rumble?
Let me see. Jumbo Sarita. That's the wrong year. I'm sorry. Was it 95? No, that was 10 years. That was 95 when that Rumble was horrible. Sadly, I see Burn It Down. Seth Rollins.
Still
trying to figure out what that means.
Old Sethy boy. Yeah. Thank you, Black Star, for that.
He's going to win.
I see that there are some issues going on with the Wikipedia page. Looks like I might need to find out what is
still Illuminati. This it'll come back.
Yeah, right. Right.
I dealt with for all day.
Yeah.
I think Sethy boy Burn It Down to win. I'm not really looking forward to if he does. I like Rollins, but one of my staff members mentioned this. What if Tom Brady wins the Rumble?
Yeah, I saw that. Tom Brady wins the Rumble.
And Patrick Mahomes got eliminated and cries. What if Roman Reigns does a surprise comeback?
Don't get the listeners' hopes up, man. He's still. He's still battling with this leukemia. He's still battling with this leukemia.
But Burn It Down. I got Burn It Down winning the men. The women, I don't know. I mean, Charlotte. It's somebody from SmackDown because obviously they're gonna do Becky against Ronda, and Ronda is the Raw champ.
Yeah.
Or somebody from SmackDown, probably Charlotte.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Could be wrong.
Well, I'll give you my predictions at the end of the show. How about that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's time for the headlines. Here we go. Zed says, I think Nikki Cross will enter the men's Rumble and win. That's funny. You know, she just got married to Big Damo.
Killian?
Killian Dain. Yeah.
Killian.
Yeah. I keep calling him by his indie name, Big Damo, because I keep forgetting his WWE name. Killian Dain is his WWE name. Sanity. Gruss is asking, how do I feel about Baron Corbin and Nia Jax winning the Rumbles? Since we're making trunk references throughout the show tonight, I already said huge. Here's another one. Wrong. No, Baron Corbin and Nia Jax, neither of them are winning the Rumble, unfortunately. So, all right. So some releases. How about that? So people wanting to be released from WWE. Let's start with Mike and Maria Kanellis reportedly asking for their release. This one doesn't surprise me. I know Maria fired back. So there were some denials from Maria about this. Yeah, so she went on social media talking about and denying it. Trying to figure out where. Trying to find out that information as far as her denial. Yeah. So. Yeah. They got married. Killian Dain and Nikki Cross got married. Let's see. Mamu said Maria denied it, thinks she's lying. I was not going to. Okay, she said this on Instagram. I was not going to address this, but I'm getting phone calls and emails about it. I did not ask for my release. Speculation and rumors are running rampant. Someone is playing all the wrestling news sites. It's a game. I've been in professional wrestling for 15 years, and what I do in front of the camera will only be a small part of the full story. I have relationships with fans, talent, producers, and their families. I have been in the hospital when people have been injured and backstage to hug someone that had a great match. I don't need to stir up blank. I don't need to put others down. She told y'all. She told y'all. Yeah, so there you go. Maria's making a lot of Maria's saying it's a no-go. I don't necessarily know if she's happy, or I would imagine that Mike Kanellis isn't necessarily happy in his time in WWE. I mean, he's grossly underutilized. And he looks amazing now. So I think Mike Kanellis could be a good hand in AEW if they do go, but their particular time right now in WWE is not the best. So definitely wouldn't surprise me if it is actually real and Maria's trying to say no for that. So.
Maria probably didn't ask for a release. Who's to say Mike didn't?
Mike didn't, right. That's true. That's very true.
So, I mean, Mike looks great. He dealt with some demons. He came back from rehab. I've hung out with them before, some couple years prior. Great people, very nice with the fans, very sweet. Hey, people see a greener pasture, they see opportunity to work somewhere else. And at the end of the day, Maria has done. She has a foundation at WWE. She was there for years.
Yep. Mike
Bennett, not necessarily. So, who's to say what happens? I'm pretty sure Vince First is going to let so many people go. But at the end of the day, I mean, when was the last time we've seen him on TV? Yep. I mean, granted, we know Mike had to deal with the rehab, and he's doing well now, but use him, put him on NXT, put him on SmackDown.
Yep.
And if not, at some point, they may ask for their release.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
Remember, Ronda Rousey did say this time last year she was not going to be at the Royal Rumble, and she showed up. I was right there, front row.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho also did the same thing when it came to him returning at the Royal Rumble a couple years ago. He showed up.
Yep.
So, what is that to see?
Yep. Rob is asking, ask Chris, I'm late. Sorry, any idea what's up with JoJo? She seems to be missing and replaced by Mike Rome. Yeah, Mike Rome is replacing her. She's still employed. She's going through some personal issues right now. Those are undisclosed as far as I know, but she is going through some personal issues. So she should be back. I was doing some digging because I noticed during the Elias about a week or so ago, and I was doing some digging, and I was like, where's JoJo at? So I did some digging, and yeah, because she's starting to become known for introducing Elias, and I was like, wait a minute, Mike Rome is introducing Elias. It's not the same. So yeah, so it's best wishes for her, and I hope that everything gets straightened out with her.
Sweet lady, real nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gross is asking, do you think Omega is lying about WWE?
Yeah, his contract ends the 31st.
Yeah.
The Rumble's the 27th.
Yeah, he's not going to be at the Royal Rumble. So I mean, he could be. It could be a work as far as him coming to WWE in February. In February on, but as far as the Royal Rumble is concerned, unless the WWE pulled a fast one and got him out that contract, it ain't gonna happen. So the Revival, it seems like they're getting jobbed out. It seems like Kurt Hawkins is going to break his defeated streak, teaming up with Zack Ryder.
He's back with Ryder.
Yeah, so the Edgeheads are back, And so it seems like they're really like, so the Revival, they didn't post no IG post that they're asking for their release is not true. So, and they've even got the hashtag FTR trunks now, which I'm actually very surprised that WWE cleared them to wear that, because that's definitely a Young Bucks thing. So that is a Young Bucks being the elite type. That's where that came from. So I'm actually pretty surprised that WWE cleared them to wear that. But I don't know, man. It's I could definitely see them heading out and going to AEW. So they're not happy with it. Yeah, they're not happy with the tag team division as a whole, which I can see that. So yeah, we'll see with the Revival, because they're not being utilized at all. It seems like the WWE is intentionally jobbing them out until their contract's up. I think they have a little while to go too. I don't see WWE granting them their release anytime soon, before at least jobbing them out. Kind of bringing down their stock value before they go. I could definitely see the WWE doing that. I could definitely see the WWE having Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder beat the Revival. Good for Hawkins, though. I think this whole streak thing is terrible. I mean, who would want to make a living losing over 250 matches, consecutively? That's terrible. But good for him if they have him beat the Revival.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. Gruss, I think Kurt Hawkins should beat Bobby Lashley for the IC title to break his streak. Great underdog story. And Rob says basically what I would say. What? And I agree. Sufi's asking, what do you think of Samoa Joe winning the Rumble? The only problem is DB and him are both awesome heels, and heel versus heel generally aren't that good, especially at WrestleMania. Yeah, heel versus heel is not good. Definitely.
Here's the prediction. Joe, get him out. I want Joe out in under 5 minutes. Joe keeps getting jobbed out, screwed over. Yeah. You remember Papa Shango? What was it, 93? What was it, Flair? Yeah, it was 93. Flair and Backlund incident 1 and 2. Papa Shango comes in. He stays in for about a minute. He got about 2 punches and a kick. Yeah. That's pretty much what Joe's going to do. Joe never gets any love. Matter of fact, I see Joe going to AEW by the summer. Whenever Joe's contract goes up, Joe cannot be happy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he hasn't been used. You come in as legit. You injure Rollins by a mistake. They haven't used you as a strong force since you went against Brock over a year and a half ago. After that, you go toe-to-toe with Brock. You almost beat him within an inch, but yet you can't beat AJ Styles? Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Moving on.
Right. Yeah.
And everybody know I'm personal friends with AJ Styles. Till to this day, text each other. Still, nothing against AJ, but let's look at the logic. Nothing against AJ, but it's WWE. They don't like Joe. He's in the doghouse. I mean, Barry Horowitz looked tougher than Joe does now back in '93 when he had his Superstars run. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, we can get Barry Horowitz to replace Jericho. The intro. Get him.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right, so we have the Revival, and then Ziggler's future's uncertain too. So, and I think this is kind of, I think that's was expected, really. I just really think it's to the point of Ziggler. I mean, he's such a utility player, but that has to get under someone's skin, after so long. Because if you get to that point where you're continuing to be used as a utility guy, as good as you are. I mean, that's just kind of, a lot of times it's kind of like victims to your own success, and it's like it gets to the point, man, where he's such a good worker, and it's unfortunate because he's such a good worker that WWE just feels the liberty to just use him wherever they want, just use him as an opener, use him in the middle, use him at the main event, and it's just there's an inconsistency there that it's really unfortunate with Ziggler. So, it seems like stand-up is really his concentration now, which more power to him. He's 38. He'll be 39 this year. So, life after wrestling, man. So, we'll see. And then John Cena, his injuries at work, man. So, I think Meltzer said that Lars and Cena was scheduled for Mania. Still could be, but unfortunately, Lars is going through some anxiety stuff, and definitely praying for that for speedy just rebound from that. So essentially, Lars was supposed to attack Cena because he actually started filming on January the 20th for another movie. So he wasn't even supposed to be in the Rumble. The whole deal was John Cena announcing to be in the Rumble and then Lars Sullivan attacking him, so he's out of the Rumble. So because of Lars not debuting yet, they did some type of work crap, that his ankle was injured last week, and he re-injured it at the gym today. Okay, yeah, sure he did. And so the thing is, there's just a liability when he films, just the insurance, and there's just such a big risk to all of the to the producers and the staff of the executive staff of whatever movie he's filming. That's what happened to The Rock. He basically tore his guts out, and that just jacked him up as far as just filming and things like that for a while. So, anytime someone's a big Hollywood guy now, that's always the risk. That's the reason why Rock's match with who was it? Eric Rowan, a couple of years back. I think it was at 32. I think it was in Texas when it was in Dallas when he went against Eric Rowan and beat him in 6 seconds. You were there, weren't you, in Dallas?
Yeah, it was Dallas. Sorry. Yeah, it was Dallas. I was right there.
Yeah, beat him in 6 seconds, and that's the reason, because they wanted to have him to, they because of that, because he's such a liability. That's the reason why it was just the rock bottom in the pin, basically. So, that's just
he's out of ring shape.
Yeah. Even if he wasn't,
he got hurt.
Even if he was in shape, that's the reason why 32 was so short, because of the insurance and the liability when it comes to being an actor. So, we'll see.
You gotta think too. Nothing gets you in ring shape better than being in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I never was a pro wrestler, but we all know him. We're connected in the business. I used to be an amateur wrestler. Same thing. No matter how much cardio you do, nothing gets you better. Nothing gets you better prepared and get conditioned in the ring, unless you're in the ring wrestling or on a mat.
Yep.
The Rock got injured 28 and 29. Remember?
Yep.
Both years.
Yep.
He was so big. Look at The Rock in 2001, 2002, 2003. He looks so small now. He was still a big guy then. Now he's about 80 pounds of muscle, and he's all rock and jacked up, fast and furious, and it's too much muscle mass. So all that muscle mass. I mean, look at The Rock in 2003 when he went against Austin in 19. He was a nice size. He was cool. He was more flexible. The Rock now was so damn big, it doesn't work. You can't. it doesn't work for him. So they need The Rock, though. They need him.
Yep, definitely.
They need The Rock.
They need.
Can we see Rock and Brock too? The Rock.
I'm game for it. I'm game for it for sure. I think it'll sell a lot better than a lot of, I'm sure it's a lot of.
So we can see Burn It Down and Ambrose 5 TLC ladder match.
No thanks.
And Mania.
No thanks.
Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
All right, let's address some of these Ask Chris questions. Yeah, so I don't think Samoa Joe's winning the Rumble. Chris is asking, what if McIntyre wins the Rumble, goes to SmackDown, triple threat, WrestleMania Styles, Daniel, and McIntyre? Definitely not interested in that. And because you need McIntyre to, I mean, you don't put a new star that you're trying to push in the triple threat. You got to do one-on-one. You got to give that person some shine when it comes to WrestleMania, at least. Rare occasions, but generally you got to do one-on-one. Ask Evan. Panthers asking thoughts on Kushida going to NXT.
I think thank you, whoever that was, asked Gavin. Thank you for that. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Kushida we both enjoy him. I think he's great. Mm-hmm. The problem is everyone they don't cross over. No, he's betting. Sorry, they don't always cross over to WWE well. And I think if he goes there, he's going to get lost. He'll be middle of the pack. It's like if he goes to NXT, I think he's going to overshadow everybody or be too big for NXT. If he goes to the main roster like Raw or SmackDown, he's going to be lost. So, I don't know. I like Kushida, but I don't think... And then another thing we got to remember, too, real quick. Mm-hmm. The Japanese schedule, Ferruzzo's schedule, totally different than WWE. There's no off-season. WWE, you're on the road for over 300 days a year. And when your body's not equipped to that, you tend to get injured a lot more. Case in point, the original Sin Cara. Same thing. When they rushed him, they was trying to get the new Ray, which they still haven't found. Good thing Ray's back. And his body wasn't used to the wear and tear. He kept getting injured. So, Kushida, stay in New Japan. Go to RH, go to AEW, work a lighter schedule. But if you go to E, he's just going to get lost.
Yeah.
It's my opinion. I don't know if you agree on
that. Yeah, I mean, I see another Hideo Itami, unfortunately. And I like Kushida. I mean, I've said this plenty of times. Kushida's one of my top 3 in New Japan right now. And I think if he went to WWE, I mean, Nakamura is case in point. I mean, he is just, they're just utilizing him terribly. And if I'm Kushida, I'm looking at, thank you, Mahmood. It says you make a good impression of Vince McMahon. Thank you very much. Zed says prolific McMahon. Yeah, but if Kushida looks at Nakamura right now, and basically you got friends in Japan say, hey, look at Shinsuke, or I don't know how to speak Japanese like Kenny Omega does, but however you say, look at Vince McMahon in Japan. And it's like, I mean, look at Shinsuke Nakamura, and it's like, that's, I mean, what other than Asuka, and Asuka didn't even come from New Japan. She was in Stardom for a lot of her. I mean, she was everywhere, but she was in Stardom for a while. But as far as I remember, and basically she's really the only person that's the only Japanese star that came in that's really been super successful. Io Shirai's doing okay.
The other girl has a chance.
Who else you said?
What's the other girl named? The other Asian girl in NXT, the sailor chick. the pirate princess.
Yeah, Carrie Sane.
Yeah,
Carrie Sane's doing okay.
Yeah, she's okay.
Yeah, she's doing okay in NXT. She won the title. She didn't keep the run for long though. She didn't keep the title for long though. I don't see her doing too. I mean, I kind of see her reaching that ceiling too. I don't see her really going to the main roster and doing the best. So Pro Wrestling Wave, DDT.
I think Nakamura. Not the thing that saves Nakamura is because his personality, his character is so over that he can get away with right now being. I mean, we forget he was U.S. champ. What? It is a waste.
Yeah,
it just was a waste. But because Nakamura, his character and who he is so over, and he's so unique. And the theme song is I actually like the Hill theme song better than the original.
Yeah, me too.
That surpasses it. But after a while, it was like you got to have him for good program. I honestly think too, as great as Nakamura is, I don't think Nakamura is a good ring general, meaning that his style doesn't mesh with everyone well. Him against Ray doesn't mesh. Him and AJ was okay. So it's like Triple H. It was either I'm going to have a good match with you or our match is going to be this stiff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I think...
And there's nothing... I love Nakamura.
See, the thing is, with New Japan, it meshed well with a lot of... I mean, man, Nakamura's match in New Japan and Wrestle Kingdom against AJ was fantastic. And that's the thing. It was just...
Yeah, because it was a different style.
It was a different style. But that's the thing. I don't think it meshes with WWE a lot. But
that's what I mean, yeah.
But even
I think
when
the
Nakamura...
WWE style doesn't mesh.
Even when he was in NXT, though, he had some good matches. He had some good feuds, you know?
Joe.
Yeah, right. Joe, his mess with Joe, his when he WrestleMania weekend a few years back against Sami Zayn, that match was fantastic. You know, and so he's had some good matches. So I don't know. It's one of those things, man. It's surprising that WWE is kind of putting the reins on him so much because he's so talented, but you'll see.
That could be it.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a good point. And maybe it's not Nakamura, and I forgot about that. That's a good point. Either NXT, great matches. Maybe it's the writers.
Yeah.
Or WWE is trying to tone them down. That's hindering him in the ring.
Yep.
I see I have a question, but I'll just wait whenever you're ready for that. But that's a good point. I think that's the main issue is Road Dogg or Michael Hayes or WWE is like, hey, just chill out for a little bit.
Yep.
Tone it down.
Absolutely. Okay, so Asuka was Pro Wrestling Wave, and her Japanese work was, of course, she was Kana, and I'm trying to figure out okay, like I said, DDT, and then WNC. Okay. Ice Ribbon and JWP. Yeah, so like I said, a bunch of different Japanese promotions. All Japan in 2014. So yeah, interesting stuff. Very, very popular Japanese scene. I know Io was in Stardom and Tony Storm, I believe. I know that Shayna Baszler was in Stardom as well. I think Tony Storm was in Stardom too, if I'm not mistaken. But Io Shirai definitely was in Stardom. I saw some of her matches. I think I saw some of her matches against Tony Storm, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. Yep. So she was in Stardom in 2016. Yep. I saw a bunch of Stardom matches last year, and I remember seeing her. I remember seeing Io Shirai against Shayna Baszler too. Zed said she was. All right, cool. All right, so let's get into this here. Ask Evan. Let's get these questions real quick. Okay, so No Mercy is the best. Yeah, I was a huge. I still think No Mercy is the best. And okay, why does WWE? Brandon's asking, why does WWE keep pushing Asuka a mic for giving Asuka mic for promos? It's awful. I don't want that. And Asuka is one of my favorites. Naomi, as far as main roster, Naomi, Asuka, Becky Lynch are my top three. And yeah, but why are you giving Asuka a mic? Kudos to her because she learned English very quick and moderately well. So kudos for that. But why? Like it just takes away so much of the mystique because for a lot of her undefeated streak in NXT, she hardly said anything. So she just basically talked in the ring. And why would you give her Becky Lynch, Royal Rumble, you and me? And I tell you, Becky Lynch at Royal Rumble, you will not be ready for Asuka. And it's like, why are you doing this to her? Why?
This is what they need to do. Asuka is so cute that you don't, because when she talks, it takes away the mystique. She can be cute and just beat your tail. And that's it.
Right.
It all started with Goldberg. Goldberg didn't say anything. He just snorted, snotted, blew smoke out his nose, beat your butt. Who's next? The end.
Mm-hmm.
We started talking for a minute on WWE.
Ruined it.
It killed it.
Yep.
I'll go back. I'll go way
Kane
before
with
that.
the voice box.
And my man, I'll go way before that. Came with the voice box. Even before that, the first undefeated streak, Ice Train. Remember him? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's Google him. You don't know. He had the undefeated streak. He started talking with Downhill. Then he got him with Teddy Long. It was too late by then. Yep. Come on. Why is she talking? Or give her subtitles. She have her speak Japanese and get a subtitle up on the little screen. Make fun of it like they did with Kantai. When Funaki would talk for 2 minutes and then say indeed. Something funny like that or a translator. It's like, because once you start talking, it's like, okay.
Right.
As my late mother used to always say, and I used to hate when she said it till I got older. She said, some men and even women look good or they define until they open their mouth and they kill it. Yep. Same way with the business. Yep. Let Brock Lesnar start talking. No.
Paul,
no.
Say something stupid. That was. I think that was probably one of his last lines. That
we feed it with Taker. He's like, yeah, Taker. Yeah, I want you. Why are you talking, Brock? Heyman's right there.
Right.
Don't.
Yeah, that's the reason why Heyman is such a good counterpart, to Lesnar. Because
shout out to my man. And I said this before, my man, the Barbarian. I'm good friends with him. No. This man been in wrestling for 30-something years. I talked to him. He said, hey. And I never heard his voice. Hey, Evan, think. Me, Barbarian, no speak, ever. Me, Ming, no speak. I said, you're right. He likes to think about it. He has broken English. We never speak. Bobby speaks for us. Rude speaks for us. Fuji. I was like, you know what? That's true.
Yeah.
You don't know how the man sounds. I know how he talks. Yeah. We don't know how Ming talks. He just He just did the little thing.
That's all. That's all.
That's all. What's she called? That's all you.
That's all. There's the goozle. There's the goozle.
Yeah, that's the one. Tongue and death grip. That's it. Replace Jericho with Ming.
That's all. He did that for 25 years. That's all.
Messy stuff. That's how he breathes too.
Made a bunch of money saying that. Just doing that. Make a bunch of money. That's all.
And real quick, in one of the markout moments, you remember he went against Muda? No, when he went against the Giant and did the tongue and death grip.
Yeah.
And Muda sprayed it in his face.
Yep. I remember that. That's all.
And he sells cars to Mazda now.
Let me adjust some of these ask questions real quick. Okay. Velveteen Dream, unhappy, work or shoot? Work. Rob asked that, and there's a couple of more. Okay, so that was a good one, Brandon. Rob was asking, Triple A said we need to be patient for Dunn. Walter, I know you're not sold on NXT UK, but do you think that means TakeOver Mania or later? I'm cool with NXT. I mean, I watched Blackpool. I think Blackpool is a solid show. I don't know what you mean by be patient. I guess for their next takeover, which would make sense to have one right before Mania. That would make, to me, that would make sense because you had one before Rumble. So it would make sense to have one before Mania. So I can definitely see that happening. So it seems like their deal is they'll probably have a takeover a week before the American one, like they did like they did this time with Rumble. So they'll be in the UK the week before the pay-per-view, the weekend before the pay-per-view. So it seems like they'll do that, which I'm be fine with. We'll see Dunn and Walter. All right, let's see what else we have. Gus is asking, how will the WWE react if AEW booked MSG for a show? How would they react? How would they react? Kevin Dunn, you need to come in my office right now.
Coming in now.
So I got this paperwork here in my office today. You see this envelope? You see this folder right here, Kevin Dunn? You see this folder? This folder is filled with contracts that I've got faxed to me from the AEW mole. Yeah, that's right, Kev. You didn't know that, did you? I've got a mole in AEW, and he sent me all these contracts. And you know what? One thing he also told me was that AEW is going to be in MSG. You didn't know that, did you, Kevin Dunn? Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin Dunn. You've made too many mistakes. First of all, you didn't put Zack Ryder or Curt Hawkins on the intro. And now you're allowing AEW to be in MSG. Kevin Dunn, you're fired.
Hey, Finn, I gotta be real. There's a lot of beef. I'm just saying. There's a lot of beef. I'm like,
there you go.
Finn.
That's
I don't know.
That's what Vince McMahon would do if AEW is in MSG. Rob is asking, do you think Gronk retires? Chris is asking, is Jericho the AEW mole? Hey, Chris.
No.
Jericho, did you get my text? No, I don't think he is.
YGJ.
I don't think
Send me
he's
the pictures at a rally.
I don't think he's the mole.
No.
Rob is
they took him off the intro.
Yeah, which classy. He addressed that very, like a class act. He said, what do you expect? He talked about on his podcast. He said, what do you expect? He said, I'm not with WWE anymore. So why would I be? I'm not an active wrestler. I'm not a WWE employee anymore. Why would you put me on an active, Tron if I'm no longer an employee there? So it makes perfect sense to me.
Not only that, they took him off the alumni though. He's not. They erased him. They did a Benoit. They erased him from the website. They took him off the alumni page first.
They took him off the alumni page?
Get him off the alumni.
Oh, wow.
No more tracing the Jericho.
Interesting. Because I know I took him off the active roster page. I didn't know. I'll have to check and see if he's on the alumni page still. But
well, from when I checked when he did the last week, he wasn't on. He wasn't even on the alumni page, and they might have added him back. But I know for a fact he wasn't on the active roster. They removed him from the alumni, and they removed him from the intro.
Vince was pretty upset about that.
He woke Kevin up. Wake up! Get up and get Jericho off now.
Kevin does sleep in the production truck.
Right. Get him up. Get him off. I don't care who you're like. Get Linda.
He stays in the production truck. He shook him. Kevin, get up, Kevin. Get up. You see, stop it right there. Stop the intro right there. You see Jericho. Get him off.
I don't care. You can even add Rocky Johnson. And we haven't recognized him since WrestleMania 12.
Put Johnny Rodz on there. He's a Hall of Famer. Iron Mike Sharp. He's a legend.
Iron Mike Sharp. And Kim G. And Kamala.
Put Vince Russo. Put him on the intro. I like Russo, by the way.
And the Gambler. Matter of fact, the Markies, Adam, the Ding Dong, and Cornette.
Put Rick.
As a matter of fact,
you were wondering what Ric Flair was going to be like if he looked like Spartacus. Well, you know what? Jim Herd gave me some pictures, and you're going to see it. Put him on the intro.
Matter of fact, and Red Radford on there. Yeah, remember him? Mantar. Adam.
Mantar. He's actually coming back. Mantar's actually coming back, and he's wrestling this year. So that's interesting. Mahmoud said this podcast is turning into Comedy Central.
We need Royal Rumble entrant. We need to return to Skinner.
Skinner.
That's the man right there.
There you go, Steve Kern. Yeah. Let's see. All right. So okay, Rob is asking, do you think Gronk retires this year and works for SFL in some way come 2020? Yeah. Well, there's some reports that Gronk is retiring this year. Girl said, add nails to the intro. Yeah, Gronk retires. I can see an XFL affiliation. I can see him working there for some reason. He's still young. He may even play. So.
Someone said nails.
Yeah, I saw that. Nails. Yeah, I saw that. Nails. All right, so just real quick, guys. The Raw and SmackDown grades. Raw was it was decent to me. Yeah. Just kind of like a C+ to me. The main events, Ronda Rousey technically her winning streak's over. First time, although she hasn't been pinned or submitted yet. But it's funny because they were promoting Asuka's winning streak as possibly losing last year during the Mixed Match Challenge before Mania when she was teaming with The Miz. So, there you go. Technically, according to WWE standards, her streak is broken. So Finn Balor was just kind of like the third wheel with during the Lesnar Strowman. And here's the thing, man. Since I'll be at Mania, I'm hoping for a good main event. Of course, you all know I was cool with Reigns and Lesnar last year. I wasn't cool with the match. The match was terrible. But I was cool with the main event. And I was cool with Reigns and Taker. 32 is still, 32's, I mean, not 32, but 33 in Orlando. 33 is not the GOAT anymore because me and Evan, we both think 17's the GOAT. And then we agreed that 32 was the GOAT after the send-off. But it was the GOAT with the claws. Um,
17 still to go.
The clause is if Taker comes back, 32 is no longer the GOAT. And Taker came back, so 32 is no longer the GOAT.
We were at the stadium watching people cry at Mania.
Yeah. Yep.
And we said, looked at each other and said, all right, if Taker comes back, 17's back to being the GOAT.
Exactly.
What do you know?
Yep. Comes back just to beat Cena in under 3 minutes. So
Zed said he saw Jericho's profile on WWE.
Yep.
So maybe
they put him back.
Maybe they were nice.
Yeah. All right. So so Raw. Yeah, it was decent. It was decent.
It was okay. I mean, Rollins and McIntyre was good. They might make. Who knows? They could make the Rumble with the Red. Could be Braun against Finn against Brock. Vince Seat was nice.
That ain't gonna happen. I think that I was very unhappy with McIntyre losing again. I think that to me that was the worst part of Raw, because you have a ready-made monster heel just primed and ready to be the hottest thing in WWE, and you just ruined him. First of all, you ruined him when he lost against Finn in the TLC. Then he lost clean against Seth, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you can't have people win and lose
because
and expect them to be big.
They're making Rollins look strong because now you already know what's going to happen. They got the little filler feud with Apollo Crews and Lashley, which is stupid. Good match with stupid the pose down. They already had Seth eye down Lashley, so you pretty much sure after the Rumble it's going to be Lashley against Seth for the IC title. Now, where did they put McIntyre? I'm with you.
Let's see, because we got predictions coming up. We'll see where that's going to go. Maybe they'll do a more, but we'll see. Yeah. The I was okay with the pose down, actually. Lashley and Apollo Crews, those are my two underrated, those are my boys. So
he's strong. I mean, body pressing Lashley twice,
man. And so I was cool with that. Another Apollo Crews loss though, which I'm not a fan of. And then Elias, they're jacking him up too. So unfortunately, and then SmackDown was unfortunately was a little kind of worse than Raw to me. It was just okay. Naomi and Mandy Rose. Naomi keeps getting the short end of the stick. She's kind of becoming like the Dolph Ziggler utility player now, which is unfortunate because she's super talented, like super talented. To me, the best woman on the roster as far as just overall talent. I mean, Charlotte's fantastic as far as overall talent too, but Naomi's more athletic than Charlotte is. But but Charlotte's very, very athletic. Let me make that clear. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just the tag team thing with Miz and Shane is okay. Joe and Ali, they're jacking up Ali now. He came in hot and now he's losing. They're jacking him up. The 2 out of 3 was okay, but they to me, I think Joe and Ali and Mysterio and Andrade, I looked at those two matches and I was like, these two matches should be on WrestleMania. Like, they should do the Mysterio Andrade match at WrestleMania. Why not? Because we're going to be in the Andre Battle Royal if they're not. They're not going to have big. They're not going to have a big spot, so they might as well just put Mysterio and Andrade at Mania as a feud. Ride it out all the way. All right, let's do flavor of the week real quick. Zoom past these.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
Okay, so we are at 2004. So I'm looking at. So I'm seeing some updates on the Pancakes Powerslams page, and they're they're working on it reinstated. I'm looking from what I'm seeing here. It says that there's some notes that it's a notable podcast. So looks like they're digging.
Oh, it is, won't it?
So yeah. So hopefully that is settled ASAP. Because y'all need to tweet Wikipedia to put up the Pancakes and Powerslams show page back up. All right, real quick. Let's make this really, really quick. Okay, so Triple H versus Shawn Michaels in a draw. Last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, that was a fantastic match. Honestly. They have really good chemistry together. Together or apart.
SummerSlam, that.
Yeah, the SummerSlam.
Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, when Michael's in the jeans. That was SummerSlam.
Jeans and the dress belt.
Yep. Triple H beating Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Champion. Well, retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. That match was long too. It was solid. It was a solid match.
Yeah.
2006 was wow. So the Rumble was, there was 2 matches before the Rumble, after the Rumble. The WWE Championship match, and the World Heavyweight Championship match, which was only 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Whoa, I forgot all about that. So Cena beat Edge to win the WWE Championship, and then Angle and Henry actually were the main. Wow. They actually were the main.
Because remember, they did all of that to set up Taker's return for the white horse on the chariot, and for them to have that great match they had here in Baltimore.
Yeah.
She plugged No Way Out.
Yeah, No Way Out. Yep.
Because I was like, why in the world is Angle maining with Henry?
Yeah, that was really. Yeah,
I got mad.
Yeah. Interesting. I had Davari on the show last week, and he was talking about him and just being with Henry, and that is interesting. John Cena beat Umaga in a last man standing match. I wasn't necessarily happy with that because I thought
I didn't want Umaga to lose.
Yeah, I thought it was another person that Cena kind of held back a little bit. So I think Umaga was so.
And he does do that, by the way.
What's that?
He does do that. He does do that.
Yeah.
Super reliable source still in. He does.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Captain Four.
Yeah. I think Umaga's push was kind of thwarted after that. Randy Orton defeating Jeff Hardy to retain the WWE Championship in 2008.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah. Decent match. It was a decent match.
And they're both going to be in the Rumble this year.
Yep.
10 years later.
Right. That was 11 years later. 2009.
11 years, right.
Edge defeating Jeff Hardy, winning the championship. Yeah, I remember that. Edge with Chavo. No disqualification match. He won the WWE Championship from Hardy. 2010. 2010 was Taker. Okay, yep. So that's what I was. Taker Mysterio was 2010. That's why I always talk about the filler matches. The Henry and Angle, and then Taker Mysterio. It's kind of filler matches.
That's the match that Mysterio busted Taker's nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good match, but we knew who was going to
win. Yeah. It was a filler match. Well, I think, ask Chris and Evan, where do you think Drew goes from here?
To sleep and then get breathed in.
I hope. I
don't know, man. Yeah. That's a good question. They gotta find. He's so over right now.
Yeah,
it's like last season.
They're jacking him up, man. They're jacking him up. All right, let's see. We got a roll here. Let's zoom through these real quick. We'll talk about Drew McIntyre as the weeks progress heading to WrestleMania. 2011. Oh, that's a good question, Rob. Hold that question. If we have enough time at the end, I'll answer. Eve Torres. So the match before Mania was Eve Torres defeating Layla, Michelle McCool, and Natalya to win the Divas Championship in 5 minutes. Okie dokie. Next, 2012. I forgot all about that. 2011 was just an odd. That was the 40-man Rumble. That was really odd Rumble.
No one remembers that.
Punk and Ziggler. That was good. 2012. That was good. Lauren, People Power. Lauren Huttis was the special guest referee that year. All right. 13 was Rock and Punk. Rock beating Punk, winning the title. So that was
inevitable.
Actually, yeah, that was good. That was actually a good main event. They didn't have a filler feel to it. 14 was Orton defeating Cena. So that was
for the 80th time.
Yeah, they have pretty good chemistry though. It's probably Cena's best feud. Other than Edge, maybe Edge and Orton are the top two as far as Cena's best feuds.
Yeah.
Brock defeating Seth and Cena, and 2015. That triple threat was actually a really good triple threat.
Great match. Yeah, great match.
Still had a filler feel to it, but it was actually one of the better main events to me. 2016 was Charlotte defeating Becky Lynch, retaining the Divas Championship. Interesting. I didn't even that kind of went past me. They were feuding 3 years ago for the championship. 17 was Cena defeating Styles to win the WWE Championship.
Good match.
Yep. Oh yeah. That was one of the best matches, and to me, one of the best WWE Championship matches.
And I wasn't even mad that Cena won.
Yeah, but it made sense. All right, we got like almost 90 seconds. All right, Lesnar defeating Kane and Braun Strowman. That was a decent one, but that was a filler too. You kind of knew what was going on with that. All right, so let's really quick
90 seconds.
90 seconds. So let's really quick go through these predictions here. The Bar versus Miz and Shane for the SmackDown Tag Titles.
The Bar.
I got Miz and Shane. Ronda and Sasha, Raw Women's Championship. Ronda, yes, I agree. Asuka Lynch, SmackDown Women's Championship.
Lynch.
I got Asuka. Daniel Bryan, AJ, WWE Championship.
60 seconds.
Daniel Bryan.
Yep, I agree. Lesnar and Balor, Universal.
Paul Heyman.
Brock Lesnar. Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy, Tozawa, Utami, Kalisto.
Buddy.
Yeah, I got Buddy too. Rusev Nakamura, U.S. title.
Give it to Rusev.
I think Rusev will retain it. Who wins the Women's Royal Rumble?
Charlotte.
Yep, I think Charlotte will too. And Men's Royal Rumble.
Burn it down.
Yep.
Seth Rollins
is my pick as well. Yep. All right, y'all. It's been so fun. Thank you so much for continuing
10 seconds.
to have such a fantastic time. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I'll do it for you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.